Oh, this is sad, man. When he just kills horse killing my bro, man. Oh, look, he's so evil, man. Oh my god. Poor Twice, man. It's like, we're best friends. Could you betray me, man? This is sad now, man. When Twice is dying here. Man, yeah, bromance no more, man. This is so sad when he dies here. My little Toga-chan. Oh my god, yeah, this is freaking crushing, man. I really like how they're using his quirk to make it look extra sad. Oh, my Twice, my bro! Yeah, this scene is like, oh my god, this scene is brutal. Man, this is a sad episode. But I knew it was gonna be emotional, man, when we got to like Twice being betrayed. Because Twice is this lovable bad guy, you know. He's just like he's just like, bros, I love you. Come on, you know it's gonna be sad, man. Let's go to the review part. So yeah, really good episode. My boy Hawk, one of my favorite character. I look at my Hawk cosplay. Amazing cosplay, definitely. I also got my Endeavor cosplay behind me, right? Yeah, I also got my Endeavor cosplay. Also amazing, right? But anyway, yeah, very, very good episode. Definitely the best Hawk episode. Whatever. The episode is really sad, right? You really feel for Twice. I teed up a bit there when poor Twice gets betrayed, right? More than once too. He gets betrayed like several times. That poor guy, man. He's just like, oh, I'm gonna fight and know you. And I mean, sure, half the episode basically Twice crying, right? You know, it's Twice crying that like Hawk's betraying him. But the reason I think it's, I think a moving episode in many aspects, right? Is like I said in the reaction part, is because Twice, arguably of course, but I would say that he's the nicest bad guy, right? Twice is the bad guy that is just like, how can I say that? He's part of the crew because, he got some mental issues, right? And then he just needed friendships or whatever, right? He's basically just a bad guy because he needed friends, right? Right? He could have basically been a good guy if Deku or someone else had met him earlier, right? And be like, oh, I can be your friend, guy. I can help you with your issues, right? You know what I mean? He could basically be a good guy, right? Now, of course, he has to kill people so on afterwards, right? But yeah, he's a more a troubled individual, right? Where some of the other bad guys are a little more like, I just want to kill everyone, right? Toga-chan, while adorable little best girl, right? Toga is, I like to drink blood and so on, right? Maybe not the best good person, right? But, so I feel for Twice, right? He got a sad moment and so on. But I really like how the episode, and this, arguably I think it's the best scene then, right? The Hawk scene here, I put it up here. I really like how they made Hawks look just freaking evil. Yeah, Hawks is like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, best friend, right? And I really love how they made Hawks look. Even the Hawks keep telling him, oh, I don't want to betray you, but bromance, bro, and all that stuff, right? So they have Hawks, and of course Hawks later saves him, right, from the fire, and then they try to kill Hawks and so on. So, if only two of them, if Dabi hadn't entered, he probably would be alive, right, of course. But, regardless of that, I really like how the visual made Hawks look really evil. Yeah, constantly having Hawks like standing in the shadows, being like, I'm gonna stab you, and all of this like Hawks is kind of serial killer, right? He comes in here and is like, I'm sorry, I literally backstabbing you here, right? So, of course, from Twice's perspective, right, Hawk is really, really evil. And the title, right, of the episode is something like, one's justice or whatever, right? So I really like the two, because of course the philosophy in the aspect is like, well, isn't Hawk the bad guy, right? From the non-hero perspective, Hawk is a massive bad guy, right? But sure, though, I mean, I like Hawk's character. I think he's really one of the best written characters in Academia. But one of the reasons why he's a good character is because he is this like double, triple, quadruple agent, right? Yeah, like he's an interesting character, clearly plays another role, right? And certainly, Twice is correct to some aspects, right? And Hawks is definitely, how would I say it, not very heroic, right, Like for Deku is basically, I'm just a hero and I punch stuff and I'm the good guy, Hawks is like, well, I will infiltrate, I will pretend to be a bad guy and I will do this thing, I will kick people in the air, Yeah, Hawks is clearly playing another kind of good guy, right? A little more dishonest good person to speak, right? But that being said, that's why I think he's a good character, right, He isn't as one-dimensional or as straightforward, right? That means I think most academia characters are good written, in Double Temple, right? With this bad parenting and so on, right? So I think it's also some extra level of them, right? But I think that's really interesting, yeah. What is, right? Opening and ending, especially if you're anime only, they might have some tells or whatever, right? And now when I saw the ending right after this, it's like, oh yeah, oh my god, this is basically the ending, yeah. So of course have that scene, right? Toga giving Twice the handkerchief and doing his face, right, in the ending, and in the next scene at the ending, she's like crying alone, right? She kind of, or something, it's like sad on the ground alone. So yeah, like now when I see the episode, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, this scene is straight up in the ending, right? She hugs Twice and then he dies, right? So yeah, it's a sad moment there. And you know, I like Toga too, right? I have my little, you know, Toga best girl figure as well, right? But I don't know, Toga, you know, I think Toga, likewise to Twice, right, to some extent, right, is also one of those bad characters that isn't like pure evil, right? Now, I definitely see the difference between who is really, really evil, right, in the bad guy team and who is like kinda evil, right? Or Toga and Twice are more kind of like, they're similar, right? They're both like, you know, mentally crisp people more than... Yeah, I think that it's fair to say that they're both best friends, right? They always hang out together and so on, all this stuff, right? And they're both kind of like troubled people, right? With mental issues, rather than some of the other people that are like really evil, right? Like, you know, and the main, yeah... Well, I guess you guys are Chris too, but you know what I mean, like the awful ones, so on, yeah, whatever. Very powerful scene, though, still, and, you know, I think they made it really well. This scene was great because they really took that, like, oh, he has the clone power, right? And then when the clone is dying, she is like, oh, Twice, arigato, you know, yeah, thank you for saving me, you dead. Yeah, it's like, she took that, like, death scene, right, and made the clone dissolve in front of her instead, right? It was his bestie, right? So it really made it sad, right? Because taking that, I mean, but this is one thing that, how can I say, right? It's gonna be like maybe a little off shot, right? But this is one of the things that I really love, right, with anime, manga, whatever, right? Not so gaming, whatever, but basically fictional work, right, compared to something that is like, you know, live action and support. But even, I guess, some live action could do too, right? And the point is that this is one of those very powerful emotional scenes that works extra well, right, in like an anime than it would in, you know, a normal, here's a cop show, whatever, right? Or whatever, typical live action, no fantasy magic stuff, right? Of course, because this guy has a quirk that makes clones, and if the clone dies in this like horrible, like dissolving way in you know, when she's hugging him, right, that gives you that extra emotional feeling of, oh my god, it's an extra sad death scene, right? Because instead of just having the character dying, we're having basically a dissolving into his mud or whatever, right? Because he has the quirk. So yeah, I think it's really well done because they kind of spiced up extra. The sadness is extra spiced up, right? Because of course, you know, we have this like clone guy, and he can, you know, die in a more visual, tragic way, right? Than, for example, a normal person would die, right? So yeah, so I love that too, right? I mean, I think it's good writing, right? You have this character with whatever power, right? And yeah, having them die then with their power is like, yeah, okay, that's an extra point on it, right? So that's really good as well there, definitely. The thing that what happened, of course, was that, oh, my powers are stronger because his shadow's down here. Yeah, my powers are stronger, right? It's a hallway of shadows. Yeah, Fat Gum, cover the sun for me. I get stronger, right? And of course, you know, he's of course the disciple of Hawks, right? He was in Hawks' team and so on, right? The bird team, right? You know, bird bros, and Hawk inspired him to be able to fly and so on, right? Why can't you fly? You're a bird for so, right? So it's a little bit. So I think that part, I think it makes sense, right? If you're gonna have one other character focused episode, it should be Dark Shadow. It should be it should be like the, you know, the bird guys, right? They should have the focus, right? So definitely worked out though. But I do find it scene honestly a little strange because he kind of, you know, broke in there, right, powered up, saw, you know, super gigantic monster. In Dark Shadow's like, let's go outside. This guy scares me, right? But did you do amount anything? He's like, oh my god, that guy is scary. I was like, okay. Like, so you're gonna fight him? I don't know. They're probably all gonna fight him, of course, but it was a little weird how it didn't like start out a fight. It's just like he looks in there and like, that guy is really powerful, you know? It's like, well, maybe, yeah, okay, are we gonna fight him? We're gonna interact with him? No, he's just like, okay, he's powerful. Also a little strange. And otherwise we saw about the quirks. Oh yeah, we had Midnight Sensei. Okay, that was good. Think about it. We had Midnight Sensei. Clearly, right, when they make Midnight Sensei, she's a very attractive, you know, a tilf, right? A very, very hot female character, right? But what I love with her because her powers are basically, you know, oriented through, you know, sex, right? You know, with the fur powers, is that the way she moves to in the anime is clearly extra added to be sexy, right? You know, like she jumps in, right? Kind of slides at the guys, and then she, yeah, does this weird, as I mentioned, this weird flip up, right? So her ass flies upwards, there's just a cartwheel or something kind of flip in the air, you know. It's like this unnecessary movement, but I mean, I love it. I mean, but that's what that's why I think it's so good to her, because it was so bad and looks sexy, because she could have just jumped up in the air, right? She could have just been like, you know, firm her own powers, right? That could be it, right? But no, they're gonna have her do some weird, you know, flipping shit, right? With her long legs and see her ass or whatever, and then she does this thing, right? She can't just, you know, go up there and do it. No. She gotta approach them with some kind of weird, you know, hen vibes, right? You're like, yeah, of course, yeah. But anyway, guys, that's my Academia review, reaction, subscribe, press the lappen and so on.